On this episode of Stadium Center, 3 new parks created on stream, the finals of the Template Showdown Challenge, and some of the best parks in the vault that inspire you to get creating. All that and more on this episode of Stadium Center.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Stadium Center, your #1 show for all things MLB Stadium Creator and MLB The Show. Last time we left off, we were looking at a Stadium Creator competition, and it's time to wrap that up down to the finals, so let's take a look at our finalists.
In the National League, you guys voted for my entry of Riverside Park, and Newark 1800 took the early lead and never let go of the top spot in the American League division. Finally, Reeser Avenue Park finished with just one single vote ahead of Park at Home Run Bay. So now it's time for the 3 finalists to battle it out in the championship round. Let's take one more overview of each of the contenders in the Template Stadium Creator Showdown. We're gonna kick things off with the winner of the Knucklehead division. Scotty Warren brought us Reeser Avenue Park and just beat out his competition by a single vote. This park mixes a modern aesthetic with an old school feel and is sure to get some re-uploads into the vault. His creation includes a wraparound concourse with views from nearby buildings both inside and outside of the park. He's also included a great little town which will definitely sell the immersion while playing on this field. This field looks awesome both during the day and when you flip the lights on at night for night games. Great job on this one, Scotty, and I have a feeling we'll be seeing more of your work in the future. Next up, we have the champion from the American League division. This was won by Newark 1800 by Tommy 20701. He decided to keep his park old school as 1800 reflects the year this park was constructed. He's gone with a classic look of brick architecture and green walls, which really helps sell the throwback feel. He's also included the staircase prop behind most of the outfield stands to include some balconies to catch the game from. The surrounding area is also mainly brick-style warehouses and shipping companies to give this park a Fenway-style atmosphere. Here's one more overview of the entire park. Good work on this one, Tommy. Now let's move on to our last entry in the showdown. Our last entry is the winner from the National League division, and it's my entry of Riverside Park. This is a minor league park set in the middle of a city on the river, with the main feature being a train that runs through part of the stadium. It has a city consisting of mainly turn-of-the-century buildings and a few bridges in the background. There's a few restaurants along the river to watch the game from, and I think it looks pretty decent under the lights. I really enjoyed looking at everyone's parks in this competition and seeing how everyone built around those goofy walls. That's going to be it for the finalists in the showdown, so let's head back to the studio for information on how to vote for your favorite park.
Alright guys, this is going to be the final round, so be sure to get over to that community page to get your votes in, as this is going to decide the winner of the showdown. Now, if you've been following along with my streams, you'll know that I've built a few stadiums over the past week or so. So now let's take a look through the YouTube Stadium Creator series.
The first park we're going to take a look at is Sherman Yards, which I built in dedication to Phil Sherman over at Studio 44. He has been an awesome guy to build a stadium creating YouTube channel alongside, and his videos and premieres are top notch. We're always bouncing ideas back and forth off one another, and we have a few ideas for compilations in the works. Be sure to keep an eye out for some announcements soon about those videos. Kicking things off in left field, we have the bridge over the left field entrance gate. The bridge connects the suite level to the Studio 44 offices. That way Phil can catch some games while taking a break from editing his videos. Fans can also enjoy the game from the bleachers or grab a garbage plate from the restaurant just above the splash zone pool. Right field has a wing from the Moonshine Hotel with balconies off some of the rooms, and down below are the suites off the hotel lobby with great chances of catching a souvenir from lefty power hitters like Bucky Crozier. There's also a gate off the lake in case you want to paddle your canoe down to Canoe Cove below the center field scoreboard and scenic waterfall features. I had a really fun time building the stadium for Phil, and we did it on stream and got a bunch of great ideas and input from the chat. If you haven't already done so, make sure to check out Phil's channel Studio 44 and give it a sub so you don't miss his awesome videos as well. This next park is going to be a quick one as the frame rate made recording a nightmare from all the cornfields. This is Midwest Field and it's on the edge of a small town farming community. While it really lags in the stadium creator, it plays games on the field just fine. This was a quick build that we did on stream and it only took a few hours, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's a great field for single A games, or if you just want something a bit different from all the giant coliseums with 50,000 fans in them. This next stadium might be one of my favorites that I've built recently. This is the ballpark at Half Moon Bay, and it's located in New England. I started off with the idea of having a minor league park built with the outfield seats carved into the nearby oceanside cliffs, and I really love the way that it came out. I really like a lot of the features here, so let's start off in left field by the entrance plaza where we have a few vendors and you can grab a seat in foul territory and be a part of Murph 075's top deck crew. Below the overhang, you can hang out over the left field wall and take the path past the nearby food vendors to the wharf. This is a great place to hang out and grab a bite to eat while enjoying the game. Just keep your heads up for any home runs that might be headed your way. Next, over in right field, you can catch the game from the Ocean Club party decks, and the scoreboard is double-sided so you can pull up your canoe and watch the game while waiting to compete for those splash landings. Center field has the iconic lighthouse on the cliffs, and the Harbor Hotel also has rooms facing the park. This stadium was a lot of fun to build, and we had a lot of fun in the chat over the 3 streams it took to complete this park. I also want to take this time to thank you guys for all the support and hanging out with me on the streams. I also have started a Stadium Center Instagram where I post pics and videos of parks from both upcoming videos and stadiums we check out from chats on the stream. Feel free to give that a follow and hang out with us on my next live stream, but for now, let's head back to the studio.
Alright guys, just a quick reminder, if you are enjoying the show, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. If you'd like to find a way to support the channel, you can check out the Stadium Center merch store online posted down below. And right now, if you use code STADIUMS, you'll get 10% off your entire order, and any orders over $75 are also going to receive free shipping. Alright, so as you guys know, there are a lot of really great stadium creators out there, and every week we like to try and feature somebody new. So now it's time for this week's featured creator.
Alright guys, this week's featured creator is Murph075, and he is absolutely one of the GOATs when it comes to creating amazing ballparks. Since recording this, he's put out 3 or 4 more new stadiums, and they're all works of art. You can check some of them out on the Stadium Center Instagram, but for now, let's start off with Hensher Plaza Stadium. In left, we can see this park is built well below street level and features those iconic cherry blossom trees around the city. Right field has a great fan zone below the train station catered towards kids and includes wiffle ball, batting cages, and snacks to fuel their appetite. This park looks absolutely gorgeous under the lights, and the more you explore this park, the more little details you'll find, which is a staple of Murph builds. I don't want to give everything away though, so be sure to check it out for yourself. Our next build of Murph's is River Fork Fairground Park. He recently moved from Missouri to Kentucky, and he said there's a spot where the Ohio River joins the Mississippi and the border of Illinois as well. As he drove through the area, he thought it would be a cool place to build a stadium where you can see all 3 states of the River Fork, and ended up turning it into a fairground after playing with the idea. Starting in right field, we get a nice video board in front of the roller coaster with the Welcome to Kentucky sign right overhead. Left field also has a custom video board, this time in front of a giant Ferris wheel, which would be a very cool way to get both great views of the game and surrounding riverbanks. Nighttime is where this park is really going to shine as the fairground comes to life in the night sky. This would definitely be an entertaining experience, as if the home team was getting blown out, you could just hop on the roller coaster and grab some overpriced cotton candy at the nearby fair and possibly play some midway games to try and win a prize. I really love Murph's vision of this park from a real life location, and I think we can all agree he executed it to perfection. Our third stadium of Murph's to check out is Vess Park, which is named after Vess Cola. I'm not sure if it's a real or fictional product, but Murph usually likes to include local businesses in his builds. I ran across this one in his vault while I was building Tombstone Park, and my first thought was, well, Murph just put my old school warehouse district to shame. This park is stunning and has vibes of a AAA Fenway Stadium. The use of warehouse buildings and ads along the outfield walls really give you that turn of the century look. He also did a fantastic job on the stands as he flipped around the roofs to create the pillars that give obstructed views indicative to that era. He also mixed the building props really well to create unique buildings, and if you're looking for an old school build, look no further. This is one of those builds that you look at and, as Phil would say, just pisses you off that you didn't think of doing that first. Murph really is too good, but we love pulling inspiration from him in our own builds. Let's take a look at one more park from Murph075. Our last park of Murph's is Stadium 44 Hall of Fame Field, and as you might have guessed from the name, has a ton of nods to both Phil from Studio 44 and myself, and this was a blast to check out live on stream. The first nods are the Ricky Davis League Hall of Fame and Phil's Canoe Carousel. Behind that we have Club 44, and he's built a Sewell's Blackjack Lounge, which, if you didn't know, I deal cards at a casino. We also have a dog park behind the batter's eye, and that leads up the concourse to the Studio 44 building. Off in the distance, we have the Netgear Penthouse Towers, which Phil say looks just like his router at home. We can also see the Moonshot condos named after Phil's signature stadium, and I've got awesome views of the game from the Stadium Center studios. That would be my absolute dream to have a view like that to watch every game from the comfort of my own balcony at home. Right below we have the Kids Studio Zone, where you can grab a quick meal at the nearby picnic benches without missing an inning of the game and snag a home run if you're lucky. You can also pay a visit to the Stadiums That Inspire Hall of Fame, where I'm sure you'll find several of Murph's stadiums included in the exhibits. I'm always flattered when you guys include me in your parks, and Phil and I never thought anyone would be acknowledging us in their builds. You guys are awesome, and I love the positivity in the community we've built. Awesome job on these, Murph, and speaking of stadiums that inspire.
Alright guys, now remember, that was just a small showcase of what Murph075 has shown us lately. Be sure to check out his vault for even more great stadiums. He's been an awesome member of our Discord community and always shows up to premieres and live streams with great help and ideas. He always gives me a lot of inspiration, and that's going to lead us right into our main event, Stadiums That Inspire.
Alright guys, we're gonna kick things off with Lakeshore Park at Navy Pier by Milky One. This build, as you've probably assumed, is located in Chicago, Illinois, just off of Lake Michigan. It holds 42,000 fans and sits at an elevation of just 278 feet. Left field features bleacher seating below the old school scoreboard and is built from the tops of the rooftop seating props, a great style we don't often see. Over and right, we get a concourse that looks like a ton of fun to hang out on and has multiple restaurants with rooftop patio seating, and also it has a lot of vendors and bars to choose for a variety of dining options. Center field features the home run deck next to the batter's eye with a very hittable target on the right side of it. Behind that is a small park that leads back to the iconic Navy Pier off Lake Michigan. This park looks amazing, and it's another park that really makes me miss the time I spent living in Chicago. They really nailed the location and architecture associated with the area, mixing up an old feel with newer features. Great job, Milky. This one really brought me back. Time to switch gears and head up to Boston for Harbor Yards by Sluggish Moth 953. Sluggish Moth definitely has a great building style, and this 38,000 capacity stadium shows off his skills once again. With an altitude of just 20, you're gonna have to dig deep to blast those home runs out of the park. Starting in left, we see the Tea Party Terrace over the outfield seating, complete with a kids' pirate ship play zone on the water. There's also a dining area for views of both the game and river, where you'll see canoes waiting for splash hits from big hitters. The right field corner has a nice balcony overlooking foul territory, and the upper plaza has a few concessions where you can grab a snack between innings. There's bleacher-style seating above the green monster-style wall, and even some more vendors behind it alongside the wall of retired numbers. Center field also features a reachable glove target, and they've done a nice job using the factory prop to create an awesome look below the upper deck. Sluggish Moth has once again outdone himself with this build, and it's easy to see why his stadiums are becoming so popular in the vault. You can always see the care and detail he uses, and he does a great job capturing the atmosphere of the area that his stadiums are set in. Great job, and I can't wait to see your next one. Alright guys, it's time to head back south to Huntsville, Alabama. This is Big Spring Park by Bo Tiger. Bo Tiger is also no stranger to having his park showcased on this channel, and this is another great one. At 37,000 fans and a maxed out altitude, this is a great park for blasting home runs or just grinding out in Diamond Dynasty. Left field starts off with an entrance gate that'll lead you up the stairs to the outfield bleachers, and on the other side in right field, there's a ton of outfield seating below the video board. If you look closely, you'll also see some fans hanging out through the windows at field level with concessions in the background. He also did a great job tidying up the corner by making it a field maintenance area with a small balcony and suites above. Center field has a great centerpiece in this stadium with waterfalls cascading down to the retired numbers and a small hill below the walkway that leads to the Big Spring Park signage. This stadium looks really nice at night, and I love the natural look of the center field area with the waterfalls, ivy, and trees. Another solid park by Bo Tiger, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more from him in the future. Next on our list is a stadium from someone we haven't seen in a while. Let's head on out to Detroit for Kramer Stadium by Jedi Yank. Named after the beloved Seinfeld character, this stadium holds 42,000 fans and has a pretty high altitude. This was Jedi's first attempt at creating a stadium using the turn of the century props. Once again, we kicked things off and left with some bleachers and concessions. There's also a train running overhead between the stadium and the city buildings across the avenue. The turn of the century props have definitely been my favorite update this year. The concourse continues in right field and leads to a triple-deck seating tower with a video board tucked into the corner on a custom-built structure. Do you think you have what it takes to hit the top deck with a home run? Another great job by Jedi Yank, but I think it'll be a little while before we see too many more builds from him. He said that he's been preoccupied with other games lately like college football. Either way, we'll be looking forward to his next one when he comes around to building it. Next up is another legendary builder who has stadiums all over the vault. This is KFC Park by Carmen's Dad. He originally shared the start of his build on stream, but this is the completed version. He was inspired to build this after seeing Merv075's Churchill Downs build. There's another version where he has canoes as home run targets over the openings in the bleachers, but I wasn't sure which version he wanted showcased. He has tediously built custom bleachers throughout the outfield and has the Louisville and Slugger suites on the very top levels above. He's also left his signature CD in one of the corners, and what would a Carmen's Dad build be without a custom scoreboard inside the stadium? He really nailed that Kentucky Derby horse racing field with the architecture replicated from the downs outside the stadium. Carmen's Dad is another one of those creators that always has super clean and very complete builds, and this is another great example of his work. You'll no doubt have a ton of fun playing in this stadium, whether it's online competitive play or just smashing some dingers in a home run derby. I'd highly recommend the version with canoes though for the home run derbies. Awesome job again, Carmen's Dad, and I can't wait to see what else you come up with. Sticking to the Midwest for this next build, this is Levy Field by Murph075. Murph was our featured creator earlier, but this build was just too good to not include. With a capacity of 37,000 fans and a scenic backdrop, you'll be able to hit some splash shots with righties for a change. If you can put one over the covered bleachers in about 440 feet, you'll land one in the river where the steamboats are passing by. Leave it a bit short and you'll get it nabbed by someone enjoying the view of the city from the Riverwalk outside the stadium. The bridge above right field has a train running underneath the road and leads right into the downtown area of the nearby city. Murph has been on fire lately with building great looking cities as backdrops, and this one is giving me some St. Louis vibes with the older style brick buildings. He's used similar techniques as Vest Park for the stands behind home to give it that older feel of a ballpark built in the 1900s. This is a great park for a franchise or competing online as it has a very scenic backdrop and nearly symmetrical field dimensions. As usual, Murph really nailed the mark on this one, and I always enjoy chatting with him and seeing what he's working on in the Discord and when he drops by on the live streams. I'm sure we'll see more great stuff from him in future episodes. Once again, we're headed back to Chicago for our next park, Windy City Field by Schmitty VG. Located off Lake Michigan, this park holds 34,000 fans and is at Chicago's actual elevation of just 100 feet above sea level. We're going to kick things off in right this time, where Schmitty has built a completely custom structure and concourse to host the right field bleachers and video board. Over and left, he's once again used the concrete props to create his own exterior with an opening for the Chicago L trains to come right into the stadium. Center field has some wacky dimensions that will send the ball bouncing in a ton of different directions right in front of that beautiful lake view with the canoes on it. Another great park by Schmitty, and I also want to mention that he has started streaming his builds. You can follow him at Schmitty B Gaming on YouTube, and he usually streams a few times a week. He has some really creative builds, some of which I've shown here in the past episodes. Another awesome park, Schmitty, and I'll be looking forward to your next build. Next up, we're headed out east to Maryland for a stadium that we checked out on stream. This is John Deere Field by Adrian13. Adrian stopped by the chat and wanted me to check out a few of their parks, and they had a bunch of great ones. I decided to start with this one that holds 34,000 fans and has a lot of great detail in it. In the right field corner, they've mixed a few buildings together to create a cool restaurant with a couple of roof decks to hang out on. Next to that, they've made a 3-deck home run porch that hosts the main video board for the stadium. That'll lead you right into the main plaza behind the batter's eye that contains multiple levels with a ton of food and entertainment options, and it's actually built right off the main parking ramp for the stadium. Past that, there's seating areas for dining at the restaurant with a couple suites built right above it. They've also done some great work behind home plate with a custom press box and some deck suiting above. This is just one of Adrian's builds that has a lot of great detail and mixed props. I've taken a few things from here already and used them in my builds. It's definitely a stadium you should download and explore for yourself, as you'll find new uses for a lot of the props. Great work, Adrian. We've got another Boston build from another channel regular. This is Fenway Park at the Charles by Camo Brew 20. This is his modern take on Fenway Park, and he's moved it onto the Charles River because you have to be able to pull up a canoe to watch a game. He's also named the 4 entrance gates after his favorite Red Sox: Pedro, Ortiz, Papelbon, and Nixon. This park holds just 25,000 fans and has a great modern twist and some cool features to it. Of course, we have to start off in right field, where we can see everyone lined up in their canoes to watch the game over the bars in the corner. And where did they get those flashy canoes? Phil's Flashy Canoe Rental, of course, located right on the other side of the river from the ballpark. You can also catch the game from the Sam Adams deck or on top of the balcony above the batter's eye. There's also some great views under the Hit It Here target. It wouldn't be Fenway without the Green Monster, but they've redone the seating and added a giant video board to pedal home runs with, which comes together really nicely. Around home plate, they've added bullpens behind each of the dugouts with overlooks above them to see both the game and who's warming up. This is a great take on a modern Fenway, and I always love looking at stadiums from real life with modern twists and altercations on them. If you have a park you'd like to possibly showcase on this channel, be sure to enter it in the Google form below. Just know that with the amount of submissions I get, stadiums are picked at random and may not be showcased right away. Anyways, fantastic work on the stadium, Camo Brew, and I know I have a couple more from you. Next up, we have a park from the legend himself. This is Fountains Field from Phil at Studio 44. His online ID, Peebs212344. This was Phil's latest build at the time of recording, but he has more now. You can check those out and many more stadiums on his channel, Studio 44 with Phil Sherman, but let's check this one out here. Kicking it off in left, he's got treehouse suites down the line for a really unique experience and an awesome upper plaza with a fountain and standing room sections down below. Over and right, he's built a tower with staggered sections of both suites and bleachers, and even a patio with a small nature walk down below. The main attraction is the really great fountain complex he's built just to the right of the batter's eye, with paths winding through to standing room right up against the outfield wall. Up above, there's a bar on an elevator that will take you down on top of the fountains. This was inspired by one of the cruises he was recently on, and I love this idea. Pay attention, SDS, as this would be an awesome prop for us to use in the game. It's been a long time since we've seen a brand new stadium from Phil, and I'm glad he finally got enough of a break from editing in the Ricky Davis League to remind us that he's an awesome stadium creator too. If you don't know who Phil is, then you should absolutely check out his channel, Studio 44 with Phil Sherman. He uploads content way more often than I do and goes really in-depth to created parks. He's been a huge inspiration to me and a great friend, and I can't wait to see what his next build is, and I'm sure he'll be showing them off on his channel soon. Next on the list, we have a park from one of the mods on our Discord server. This is NNL Park 2 Statesman Park by Pfizer VV. He said this park pulls inspiration from Rickwood Field, Braves Field, Palace of the Fans, and Wrigley. This is a smaller park holding just 17,000 fans in Indianapolis and has quite a lot of character to it. In center, there's a dino sanctuary, and if you hit the ball in the flashy canoe on the Hit It Here sign, you get to keep the canoe itself. Beyond the right field wall fencing, he's included nods to Phil and myself, including the canoe company and stadium sector architecture firm. SDS Studio also shares a space in this parking lot as well. This is a great old school build by Pfizer and a really immersive build as you get a great feel of being in the city with the skyline in the background and being able to see the details of the street it's on. Great use of forced perspective by Pfizer, and you can check out what he's currently working on in the Discord server too. Thanks again for the love. It's always a cool surprise when you guys include me in your builds, and it always makes my day. Now it's time for a park from probably the hardest working stadium creator. This is Omaha Grounds by Archmage Chemish. If I had to guess a number on how many stadiums Arch has built, I'm not sure I could even guess an accurate number. If you caught the latest episode, you'll know he's a madman and absolute genius when it comes to stadium recreations. They are always not only crazy detailed and accurate, but he builds the entire exterior and accurate surrounding area from the parks. He's one of those creators who will have you wondering how he can manage the limited memory in this game so well. This is another awesome recreation and a great example of how he uses props in ways that I just wouldn't ever think of. If you're into old school parks, you'll need to get over to his vault ASAP. He told me he finally finished up the work he was doing for ATG and is now going to start creating some custom builds from his own ideas, and I can't wait to see how those turn out. Awesome work on this, Arch, and please keep us updated on your latest builds. Next on our list, we have another racetrack build from someone you're probably familiar with. This is Saratoga Ballpark and Racetrack by Sandman Dan. Located in Saratoga Springs, New York, this park holds 25,000 fans and offers great views of the horse races beyond right field while watching a game from behind the plate. Starting once again in left, he's kept upper deck to standing room only style sections, and over and right we see the horse races in the nearby distance. Hopefully no poorly timed home runs will affect any of the races going on. He's done a really nice job with duplicating the racetrack architecture into the stadium and included concessions throughout the entire ballpark. He's also made a really nice exterior and went the extra mile to build an awesome plaza around the entire stadium too. This park has great views from behind home plate and a lot of fun targets to aim for in home run derbies. I'm glad we finally got another Sandman Dan build to check out, and I know he's got plenty more submitted to check out in the future. Get ready because it's time for Stadium of the Week, and this one is a really fun concept build. Let's check out Bless This Mess from not only Scotty Warren, but also his kid that had the idea for the ballpark and helped him build it. This park has a great story behind it. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and is for a team that's getting a new stadium, but instead of waiting, they've just decided to play through the construction. I've always thought of doing a build like this and even tried starting one, but I couldn't have even come close to what they've achieved here. I love the construction cranes, placing in the props, and the scaffolding with the boxes and other supplies lying around. There's even a floating Hit It Here sign, which you can hit with about a 430-foot home run in just the right place. They've made really great use of the vehicle and terrain props, and I love how fans have scaled the scaffolding for a better view of the game. They've even included a water tower with the numbers 21 and 44 for Phil and myself. This is one of my favorite builds I've seen, and I always love it when someone goes outside the box and tries something new. It's even better when you absolutely nail it like they did with this one. Amazing job on this one, you two, and I love the idea of building a stadium with your family. Now let's wrap up the episode with this week's top 5 features. Starting off at number 5, it's the Elevator Bar in Fountains Field by Phil from Studio 44. This is such an awesome idea, and I hope SDS is paying attention because I'd love to see more moving props that are actual stadium features in future games. At number 4 is the Right Field Plaza from Lakeshore Park at Navy Pier by Milky One. It features 2 restaurants with rooftop seating, and down below there's 2 decks full of casual dining and vendors. Keep your head up too, as you are within home run range. At number 3, it's the exterior of the Omaha Grounds by Archmage Chemish. As usual, Arch with the extra mile to give his stadium that photorealistic touch. With so much attention to detail, it's no wonder why his stadiums are downloaded so often. Coming in at number 2, it's Henscher Plaza from Henscher Plaza Stadium by Murph075. He combined a ton of props to create an awesome concourse packed with layers of entertainment from wiffle ball, concessions, and party decks. No doubt it'll be packed here during games. And taking the top spot is the Hit It Here sign hanging from the crane in Bless This Mess by Scotty Warren and his kid. This is definitely one of the most fun home run targets I've ever seen, and as soon as I saw it, I had to load up a home run derby and swing away until I finally hit it. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for this episode of Stadium Center. Don't forget to get your votes in for the final of the Template Showdown Challenge on the community page, and be sure to check out Phil at Studio 44 and Schmitty B Gaming's channels on YouTube. You can also follow Stadium Center on Instagram for sneak peeks on what stadiums might be featured in future episodes. We also have a Discord you can join to share the projects you are working on and chat with other creators and myself. I'll have links to all these in the description down below. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one.